YouTube live on Rumble. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to what is this show called again?
I'm okay. You're okay.
Yeah, and we're all okay. I'm trying to find there we go scripts. Why is this? I guess I don't have a script for IOYO. Anyway, yeah. So today is Sun's Day.
Freelance.
Yeah.
Some general ideas.
Yeah, well, today is, of course, Sun's Day, aka Sunday, April 5th, 2026.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter Sunday. We do the show the first Sunday of every month, and it just so happened to land on Easter Sunday, which, speaking of Easter, what is Easter and what makes it, a thing? Well, it's Good Friday, of course, if you know some basic things and stuff. But you were actually raised Catholic, right? Or Catholic adjacent?
No, not at all. Presbyterian.
Oh, okay.
Way far away from Catholicism.
Okay, but you still believed in the whole Easter and all that stuff.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, a Christian.
So, you probably have more knowledge than I do because I never really went to church, never really read the Bible and all that stuff. So, why don't you fill us in? What is Good Friday and what is Easter? Why is Easter?
Well, actually, Good Friday and Easter's far more significant for the Christian religion than Christmas. Christmas, of course, is the birth.
Yes.
But this is the death of Jesus Christ, and then, of course,
The
on
resurrection.
Easter, the resurrection.
Yes.
That's why it's significant. That's why his name has gone down in the history of mankind.
Now, Good Friday, it's I don't know how to explain it into words, but it's despite me understanding, I believe what it is. It's that's when Jesus died on the cross,
Right.
and everything, and but it's called Good Friday because he died to now this is if you believe in the Christianity stuff,
Right.
in which Islam, I believe, also believes in this because they came after Christianity,
Right.
but then they don't believe anything after their stuff. They believe in Jewish stuff, Christian stuff, and their stuff, but anything after them, like the Baha'i faith, they don't
Yeah.
believe in.
Absolutely, because nothing that's come after Muhammad.
Yes,
But
it's
they
kind of
also
akin.
believe that because he is the last one to be on earth, that all Christians and Jews should be following Muhammad,
Yes,
not the older.
that's their belief.
Yeah.
It's kind of akin to Christianity because both Christianity and Islam believe Judaism things, and of course Judaism believes in Judaism things. But it's interesting.
Well,
it's
Christ
like
was a Jew.
yes, it's kind of like a Russian nesting doll of religions. One becomes the other, and all that stuff. Anyway, getting back to the whole point, in the Christian faith, it's called Good Friday because that's Jesus died for the sins of mankind and everything, and then eventually resurrected and then ascended into heaven and all that stuff. I'm not sure on the same day or later or what. I don't know anything really. As I said, I never really went to church, never really read the Bible. I'm an omnist, so I believe in pretty much a lot of stuff beyond the big three religions we've already discussed. But that's a whole different topic. But continue on with the whole thing, from Good Friday leading up to Easter and the whole resurrection thing and why that's significant. And all
Well,
that
we
stuff.
kind of went over it. It's Good Friday instead of Bad Friday.
Yes.
Because it is significant in his death, because he did resurrect and come and appear before his followers, and had the dinner.
Yeah.
And
Well, no. He had the Last Supper before Friday.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry.
Because we covered that in the history show earlier this week.
Yeah. Anyways, point being that he was resurrected, and that put his name into the followings for thousands of years to come.
Yep.
Anyways,
Now,
that's the simplistic version.
Now, I want to do something new, and I've already set it to be 1.5 times speed, so it's going to be a little fast, so it might be a little bit difficult to understand if he's talking a little bit fast. But I want to sit here and watch this video, or most of it in portions, and I can speed it up if you want and all that stuff. But this is a whole thing that's supposed to go down today. Now it's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time, so for most of the world, this prophecy probably would have come true if it was a thing, and we probably know about it by now. So this is kind of almost an after the fact thing. We're really late to the party with this, essentially.
Well, you don't know if he's talking about the Western Hemisphere or not.
Well, no, because of time zones and everything.
Yeah.
But, anyway, let's
In January
give
of
this a watch.
2007, a group of men went fishing in the woods of North Carolina. It was supposed to be a quiet night, just a few hours away from work, family, routine. But before the night was over, one of those men would claim to witness something that would change his life forever. Something that he says is still with him today. He describes massive glowing spheres, as large as houses, burning in the sky like miniature suns. He describes small beings watching him from the darkness, and eventually he describes meeting a woman made of light, a figure he calls simply the Lady. Some believe his story is proof of extraterrestrial contact. Others believe it echoes something far older, something more spiritual or even biblical. Because what happened to Chris Bledsoe doesn't just resemble a UFO encounter, it resembles prophecy. Before any of this happened, Chris Bledsoe lived what many would describe as a normal life. He was a husband, a father, a businessman. By most accounts, he was grounded, religious, practical. But behind that ordinary life, he carried a heavy burden. For years, Bledsoe suffered from Crohn's disease, a painful chronic illness that can dominate daily life. There were hospital visits, physical exhaustion, and long periods of light in the sky. But it wasn't a plane, and it wasn't a star. It grew brighter, larger, until it became
And
something...
by the way, like, the link to this, and if you want to read about it, I have this as well. All the tabs you see up here, well, at least, like, these ones are already in the underbar section. So if there's any others that we collect, you will see those after the live stream, of course. But let's continue on with this. Like, you have any thoughts? Because, like, this is... It starts out as, like, just another run-of-the-mill, UFO story and all that stuff. But, like, it's just... Like, well, I'll let this play here, but it's just really interesting how things correspond, or so they say they correspond.
Bledsoe would later describe it as being about 45 feet across, as large as a house. And then another appeared, and another. Massive spheres of fire.
I'm trying to get to the prophecy here.
Chris Bledsoe claimed he saw something unlike anything before. A woman, floating, surrounded by light. He described her presence as calming, peaceful, almost sacred. Her clothing, he said, resembled ancient priestess robes. Simple, elegant, timeless. And when she appeared, his fear vanished. According to Bledsoe, she communicated with him, not through spoken words, but through direct thought. And what she revealed was even stranger than the encounter itself. She told him that everything he had witnessed, the orbs, the beings, the missing time, the tree blackened, while the outer bark remained intact. To some observers, this moment echoed a powerful symbol from ancient scripture, the burning bush. A sign of communication, a sign of presence, a sign of something beyond human control.
This is, like, I don't know why they're getting into so much random detail that has nothing to do with...
Researchers connected to government programs, among them Colonel John B. Alexander, a figure known for investigating unusual phenomena. Others connected to intelligence communities reportedly took interest as well. Meetings were held, questions were asked, and attention grew. For some observers, this added credibility.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, like, I didn't pre-watch this. Oh, here, I just saw the Sphinx somewhere. There's something to do with the Sphinx. Here we go. So, this is what I wanted to see.
If nothing unusual was happening. But for others, it only deepened the mystery. Among all of Bledsoe's claims, one stands out above the rest, a prediction. He describes receiving a message from the Lady, specifically, a moment when the red star Regulus aligns in relation to the Sphinx. According to Bledsoe, this alignment signals the arrival of new knowledge, a transformation, a shift, and he associates this moment with the specific time, Easter 2026. For believers, this prediction carries enormous weight. For skeptics, it raises difficult questions. Chris Bledsoe's story sits at the intersection of several worlds: religion, ufology, psychology, myth. Some believe he encountered extraterrestrial intelligence.
That was pretty much it right
Others
there. Like,
Well, all he's saying right there is the light to receive, mankind is going to receive new knowledge.
Yeah.
It might be, it has to germinate through a human being, or it was just born today, or it could be how long it takes to come to the surface. I don't know. It's really ambiguous. Doesn't mean it's going to happen today.
Very true.
I got out of that.
Like, now, they didn't say this, or maybe they did and I skipped over it, because, like, these videos,
right.
It's like, this is supposed to be the
if
Easter...
there's any legitimate to it at all.
Well, this is supposed to be the Easter 2026 prophecy, and that was such a small part of the video.
Yeah.
Like, it's because, like, they're trying to pad the video to make it longer.
Yeah.
For advertisement profit, and all that stuff, but, like...
And the hook is the prophecy.
Yeah. But, like, I really don't like this bait and switch style of video. But, like, that one section, at least, from another source that I saw, they were talking about, like, because remember you said that, the star or whatever is aligned with the Sphinx. At the time, and this was, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, 20, whenever this was, it wasn't that long ago, but it accurately predicted where the star would be.
Okay.
And it would fall on Easter Sunday of 2026.
Yeah.
So, like, unless he's making it all up, and then, like, he did heavy research into astrological charts, how would he know that it was lined up? I mean,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
impossible. Like, once again, like,
Well, if you're an astronomer, you
Yeah.
can kind of estimate where these different things
well,
are.
even if you're not an astronomer, you can
Yeah.
learn basic things.
Yeah.
You can look it up.
Anyways, what is that?
So-
Where are we going with?
Well, it was just interesting, that just things lined up and all that jazz, and it was it's today,
Yeah.
so and it lines up. It was on Easter Sunday of 2026, and IOYO just so happens to be on Easter Sunday, the first
Well,
Sunday of the month.
The way I look at this and many other predictions out there, I look at it, all of them, not just this one, as crap. But
True.
once I've heard it, okay, let's see if it happens. But basically, I don't believe it.
Yeah. And like another one that was kind of crap was the Mayan calendar one. Remember that for
when
like
it was turning over to the whole.
well, no, the December 24th, 2012 or whatever it was, or
Yeah.
December 26th.
But it did make a
Something.
big change. in
Well,
the
that
Mayan
was the end.
calendar.
That
One
was
of
the end
bigger
of that
leaps.
calendar, and because that was the physical end of that one, that doesn't mean that's the end of time.
No.
That just means that they ran out of room, and the calendar actually they found it a continuation on another disc.
Yeah, that was the end of that moment.
Yeah.
It was the end of time.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to say that was a lie. It was presented as a lie.
Yeah.
As not as inaccurate.
I just love because I was because that was back at the time where I was going to the hookah lounge all the time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I remember because I was there overnight, like almost every day and everything. I remember it was like it hit midnight or whatever, and that was the apparent end of the world time according to Mayan counting. And I just yelled, "Happy Apocalypse!" So, yeah. Anyway, we have a couple more topics here if you want to discuss them, just
Yeah.
to clear our cache, so to speak.
I'd like to get into not debate, but opinions.
Yeah. Well, I have here Lusitania and World War I conspiracies. Why did we enter World War I? A Mandela effect at New York ammo facility. The Germans exploded and damaged the Statue of Liberty. So I have here, I looked it up. As I said, this link is also in the underbar already. The Black Tom explosion was an act of arson by field agents of the Oval Office, of the Office of Naval Intelligence of the German Empire to destroy U.S.-made munitions awaiting shipment to the Allies during World War I. The explosions occurred on July 30th, 1916 in the New York harbor, killing at least 7 people and wounding hundreds more. It also caused damage of military goods worth some $20 million, or $590 million in 2025 value. This incident, which happened before the U.S. entry into World War I, also damaged the Statue of Liberty. It is one of the largest artificial non-nuclear explosions in history. Now, this is also a rather known Mandela effect, and it seems like to become so normalized that it's kind of just eased its way into our normal flow of history without really much people noticing. I mean, did you ever hear about this? Because this was...
I did not.
This is
the
credited...
first I've heard of this.
Yeah, this is credited as one of the reasons why we entered World War I. Of course, we know it as the Lusitania.
Yeah.
But still, you think that something this big, it damaged the Statue of Liberty.
It is surprising
So,
that we're not more knowledgeable about it. I mean, everybody knows about Pearl Harbor.
yeah.
Now, that's huge. That's compared to...
Especially because we were at the time still neutral. So
Yeah.
German saboteurs did an act of war on a neutral country.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we were
we're
supplying the
helping-
Allies
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything, but
Big
still,
time.
this is like
In
that,
our harbor.
Yeah, well, what we were doing was more clandestine, just as
Yeah.
bad if not worse, but at least we were doing it under the nose. This was just blatant in the face. You're literally building a reason for us to go to war with you. What are you doing, Germany?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they
the-
didn't learn their lesson in World War II. Keep us out of it.
Well-
Learned the lesson.
Well, no. What happened was, for whatever reason, Germany, because they were allied with Japan,
Yeah.
Germany declared war against the
Of course
United
they did
States.
once it happened.
Well, no, okay. Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, And then first Canada declared war on Japan, and then we did the
Yeah.
next day. Japan did it
Yeah.
on the same day.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. But then after we declared war on Japan, Germany declared war on us because they were their ally and everything.
Yeah.
But that was stupid.
Yeah.
Like as you said, so they didn't necessarily Germany didn't necessarily attack us, but they still did just as bad of a move.
What do you mean they didn't attack us? Of course they attacked us.
Germany?
Oh, not Germany. No, excuse me. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I thought I was
I thought you
losing
said
my mind.
Japan.
No, Japan attacked us,
Yeah,
but Germany did not.
No.
So, as opposed
But
to
Japan
as opposed to
miscalculated.
this being from Germany, these were German saboteurs, so they went all the way over here and blew this up.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah.
so this was an attack of Germany. so
Yeah,
they didn't
absolutely.
necessarily, because you said they repeated their mistake. They, in a way, yes, but they didn't actually openly attack us like they did with this. They just declared
Yeah.
war on us and then just gave us a reason to go stomp them. So, but yeah,
No, I've never heard that before.
yeah.
That's concerning.
And that's one of the, as I said, Mandela effects. Like, I've talked with you about Mandela effects
Yeah.
and such before. So you're still,
Of course.
aware of what they are. So,
Of course, the Mandela effect, correct me if I'm wrong, comes from
Nelson Mandela.
a lot of people seeing him die, and they remember this.
Yeah, they remember him dying
vividly.
in prison in '96 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever year, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the name. That's why it's named Mandela Effect. It's
Yeah.
named after him because that was the first one. Then slowly but surely, there's been dozens, hundreds, thousands. Maybe even tens of
We
thousands.
don't even know.
There's so many. Like, there's entire playlists on YouTube of just hours long video after video after video of Mandela effects of this month, of that month, of this year, of that year. Just, the more another one is the whole cornucopia with the Fruit of the Loom, and
Yeah?
and this one
The
person.
underwear you're talking about?
No, like the clothing company, Fruit of the
Yeah,
Loom.
yeah.
Like, do you remember the logo being with or without a cornucopia?
I don't remember well, but I think it was with it.
Wrong. Apparently, according to the Fruit of the Loom company itself, it never had a cornucopia. However, since then, because this has been an internet phenomenon for well over 10 years now, this one lady went absolutely, and I don't want to call her crazy because she actually might have some sound evidence, but like a lot of people legitimately believed that she was losing her mind because she couldn't, she's like, no, it had a cornucopia. I don't care what the company says. So lo and behold, she eventually found a really old pair of sweatpants. Lo and behold, it had a cornucopia in the logo. So, and then since then, there's this whole, and as I said, the iceberg just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. But now people are starting to believe that the entirety of the Mandela effect, or at least using it as an excuse, is a psyop.
What does that mean?
They're intentionally trying to instill confusion in the masses by having for example, this theory suggests that entities like Fruit of the Loom that did indeed have a cornucopia, because you can't just manifest an old worn out pair of sweatpants from the 1990s. It had a cornucopia on the tag. So without that hard evidence, it's very easy to, especially with everything being digital, sweep certain things,
She's
erase
nuts.
it.
Yeah, she's
No,
nuts.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like the theory suggests that that corporations and governments are intentionally doing this to instill a sense of confusion and unassuranceness to the general populace to make them more easily susceptible to manipulation. Because if we can't even put our thumb onto did it or did it not have a cornucopia.
Yeah.
The actual company, they show all their records. There's no cornucopia, nothing ever, yada yada. Another example is the Monopoly Man. Do you remember him with or without a monocle?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Well, the theory says with a monocle, but apparently he's never had one. But then somebody eventually found an old Monopoly game and he had a monocle. But Monopoly, Hasbro or whoever the heck owns it, much like Fruit of the Loom, they showed all their records. They know he never had a monocle, never. Well, we have hard evidence that he did. So what's going on? And then there's another theory that goes on. As I said, the iceberg goes deeper and deeper. And this one involves CERN.
CERN?
The Hadron Collider over in Switzerland.
And everything. Okay. Yeah.
They're saying that they did something with the Higgs boson or whatever, the God particle they discovered, and they did something and opened up a fabric in space-time, and we are now physically occupying an adjacent dimension reality of our own past world. We're no longer in the same world. We skipped into a different dimension in the multiverse theory, and we're not like in the fourth dimension, but we're in an adjacent third dimension, So that's why things are off, and some people remember things this way, some people remember things that way, like this.
Yeah.
Like what do you have to say about all that and everything?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. The rest of them, very interesting. But the Mandela is amazing when they had a whole group of people in an auditorium or something. And
Yeah.
they all absolutely swear.
Well, those are all Mandela effects, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. That's what you're saying. But I can only react to the Mandela effect itself.
Yeah.
That's the only one I know of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just expanding your knowledge about the whole thing because
I know.
It goes into different.
I say they're all interesting.
Yeah, theories and everything, and
But how can a whole group in an auditorium 100% believe that he died in prison?
And then some people have,
and of course, it's all, like you say, named after him.
Earlier on, some people try to pass it off as like a group mental derangement or something like that.
It'd be easier to pass it off as a stunt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they don't openly say that it was a stunt, then what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gotta say it's some kind of psychosis or something, but to that degree, that'd be very difficult to explain. So
Who's
something
not to say that
something weird is happening. Yeah.
Hypnotize the whole
Well,
auditorium.
does hypnotism even work?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
That's a whole nother debate. Because that's the whole thing. The whole mediums and psychics and tarot card readers and palm readers. So many of those are quacks. So
Well, I'm just naturally skeptical of anything I can't rationalize. It's not that I
same
won't
here.
accept something.
Oh, same here.
I just like very interesting. I don't have a practical answer, so it's kind of cool, but I'm very skeptical that is a thing, the Mandela effect, what that actually means.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical about it because I'm 1 + 1 = 2, not 5.
Yeah. Well, see, what's really interesting about the whole thing is that we know something happened because, it's either one or the other, and some people believe A and some people believe B.
What happened? What are you talking about?
Well, some people remember, like with the Mandela effect again.
Yeah.
Some people remember him dying in prison, and then others don't.
Yeah.
But at the end, he did not die in prison.
Obviously.
So, did we travel to another dimension in which he was still alive? Did he actually die in prison in our reality? That's what I'm saying. There's so many different theories. All we know is that something is indeed off. We just don't know what. Something's off. But what is it? Did we slip into another dimension, or is the government industry intentionally doing a mass psychosis project? Or at least piggybacking off of a real Mandela effect, being Mandela himself, and then artificially creating things like the examples I said with Monopoly guy and the Fruit of the Loom with or without the cornucopia and everything. What's going on?
I don't know.
Something weird is happening. But anyway, and one more topic if you want to just talk about something for just another 5 or so minutes, because we're almost at our half hour here.
Really?
Now, I'm not sure if we've talked about this yet, but copyrights for writers, lifetime or in perpetuity. I'm sure we've talked about this, right? In one of our past episodes?
I don't think so.
Well, in case we have, sorry repeating viewers, but we can talk about it, and then that will be... all I have here.
Okay.
There's other weird, more conspiracy things here, but that's...
Well, let's leave those alone for the time being.
Well, no, I'm going to delete them because it's not really that important. It's just trying to,
But, okay, getting on what you're talking about.
Copyrights for writers, lifetime or perpetuity. If a writer dies, should the copyright still be with him for all of time? Or should it go into public domain for other people to utilize that intellectual property and those characters or whatever to continue on. Although with writing and everything, that's all going away, so it might not even matter in a generation or two.
Well, here's the deal for just nuts and bolts again. Mm-hmm. If you get something copyrighted, it is a thing. It's something. It's been copyrighted.
Yes.
Copywritten.
It's official.
Yeah. So, why can't that thing be inherited by your heirs like everything else you have?
I think it should be able to.
Okay.
Like the copyright passes off to your heirs. Yes, that would make sense. Like your house would. Like your
house,
like your money, your investments.
Yeah, it's part of your stuff.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Unless they change the laws and say you can have this can be copywritten for 50 years. That's it. Done.
All right.
And it's public domain. Then that's a different deal.
Yeah. And I don't even remember, because I remember we came up with that topic a while ago during one of the shows, and it was talking about copywriting for writers, but I don't remember exactly what it said, and it sparked this entire topic.
Yeah, okay.
But it said something like either it was only for lifetime or lifetime and beyond or something. I should have copied the entire article to give us a basis.
There is something out there that only lasts 7 years or something. I don't know what it is. It may be copywriting. It may already only lasts 7 years.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember, but so we may be off topic 100% anyways.
Yeah.
But if it's in perpetuity, it should be able to be passed on.
Yep.
Which probably is unfortunate, because then generations that didn't even know the person that did it can not allow something to be used that the author would have wished to be used. That's the problem you get into. All of a sudden they're not like-minded.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to pass it on.
Yes.
If it doesn't have natural limitations, and it may. I can't remember.
Yeah. I don't remember either. And as I said, I wish I had copied that article, which reminds me, during the history shows, we got to make a practice to try to find, while we're going through it, this might spark a cool conversation for IOYO, and we save it.
Yeah.
Let's start doing that later on today.
Okay.
Speaking of that, I think we're about done here.
I believe we are.
So for all of you and all of us, I'm Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you, viewer, thank you so much for coming in and watching us, whether it was live or at some other point in the space-time continuum is irrelevant. A view is a view. And until you catch us next time, be it next month, the first Sunday of that month in which we do this show, which is... What's the show name?
Oh, I'm okay, you're okay.
Yeah. Of course. But we do have a show in about 1.5 hours, the history show that we do every day at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So, you can catch us there. So until you do, whenever you see us, until then, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! Where's the thing? There's the thing. Okay.